Like and subscribe, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. When you have uninvited visitors in your house, how do you tell them to leave? Rudely or respectfully? It looks like sea animals are the most aggressive when handling human intrusion. You'll see in this clip as 10 sea monsters attack boats. Number 10. Great White Shark. If you've ever traveled on the high sea, you'll probably expect the sight of sea giants like the Great White Shark. Even if they don't come directly to your boat, they can trigger fear. Thankfully, the chances that this animal would attack anyone are slim. This was what Terry, an Australian fisherman, was thinking when he took to the sea. The older man was gradually sailing in the sea when this mammoth jumped right into his boat. It hit his arm and forced him to the floor. The creature measured 9 foot, and it was hard not to feel its impact. The animal continued to wriggle since it was out of its natural habitat. Terry was so scared that he called the authorities, who immediately arrived to save the day. When they got there, he was already bleeding on the arm where the animal landed. They removed the giant from the cabin of the small boat where it forced itself into. The victim received emergency help before he was taken to the hospital. He recovered days later and continued his fishing expedition. Number 9. Jellyfish. In 2009, a trawler capsized in Japan. The accident occurred when the 3-man crew tried to haul dozens of jellyfish. It was difficult for them as they didn't know if they were saving their boat or the catch. These marine animals weigh about 200 kilograms, so you can imagine the weight only 3 men dared carry. To top it all, the waters surrounding Japan had lots of jellyfish, so they fished out of greed. The 3 men landed in the water while trying to rescue the jellyfish. However, they were rescued and brought to safety by another trawler passing by. Although this is not a regular sea animal attacking a boat, it can be described as a fight between man and the environment. If they were not hauled out of the water immediately, who knows what would have happened to them minutes later. Number 8. Eagle ray. Eagle rays are calm marine animals. In fact, you wouldn't expect them to hurt a fly. But yeah, they're pretty dangerous when they want to be. In 2011, Jenny Hosh rented a tourist boat for her family to take a trip to Florida. What should have been an exciting ride was a nearly disastrous one. The trip started calmly until a 300-pound eagle ray left the water and dived into the family's boat. It hit Jenny and made her land on the floor. The animal pinned her there while its barb landed next to her. Luckily, she didn't suffer physical injuries but was covered in slime. Minutes before the accident, they had photographed the animal leaping out of the water. They didn't know that the next time the animal would leap, it would land on their boat. They were lucky to have wildlife officers around who came to their rescue after hearing screaming from afar. Eagle rays are huge and notorious for killing tourists by landing on them violently. Scientists are still studying why this animal leaps occasionally. Number 7. Swordfish. In 2017, Alan Pope was on a boat trip preparing for snorkeling. While he was distracted by something else, a swordfish jumped out of the water and landed on his boat. It would have been a different story if it didn't fall on him, but this animal impaled his neck with its bail. It dashed off almost immediately, but without the 6-inch sword it left on Alan's neck. Alan nearly died after this accident as his chances of survival were slim. Unfortunately, you can't blame him because the animal gave no warning sign. The only reason one might be safe from the swordfish is that they don't go out to the ocean. This animal's bail is as sharp as a kitchen knife, which explains why Alan didn't survive it. His family members didn't see the animal attack and thought their brother was shot. After the doctors tried to remove the bail from his neck, they were convinced it was the swordfish. Thankfully, the animal that attacked him was a juvenile because he might not have survived if it had been an adult. Number 6. Giant squid. Giant squids are famous across cultures and myths. They often feature in tales about death and dangerous encounters. Fortunately, they are not one of those creatures you see daily, so sea trips are relatively safer without them. When some French sailors encountered them in 2003, they were shocked to their bones. They didn't even believe that they would be part of the few sailors to have encountered the animal at sea. Several hours into their journey, they realized that a giant squid was clamped on one side of the boat. They had noticed the unusual movement of their vessel, but didn't expect to see a giant animal clinging to it. One sailor saw the animal's tentacles pulling hard. According to him, one of those tentacles was thicker than his legs. You can imagine the great force the mammoth wielded. The animal's weight caused the boat to move slower than it should, as it had difficulty navigating. Since they had nothing to fend the animal off, they stopped the boat so the animal could let go. Luckily for them, it lost its grip and swam back into the water. Number 5. Stingray. The stingray is the second ray on this list. A Florida man nearly lost his life after a giant stingray invaded his boat. The 5-foot animal jumped into his vessel and stabbed him in the chest. The man was left unconscious after the accident. Thankfully, his granddaughter was at the scene. She ensured that the boat sailed safely to the shore while administering emergency care to her grandfather. Although he was conscious when medics arrived, he was in an awful state. He didn't expect to be attacked by a supposedly peaceful creature. He responded to treatment and became well weeks after, but the effect of the accident remained evergreen. The authorities later forced the animal into the water as they hoped the attacks would be minimized in the coming days. Number 4. Sperm whales. Who doesn't wish to experience fishing on the Gulf of Alaska? Well, I sure do. There are many sea creatures there, and a larger one that eats most of the smaller ones. It is called the sperm whale. They are the largest ocean-toothed predators capable of hunting their prey themselves. However, they get lazy sometimes and wait for the fishermen to do the work. They quietly watch as the fishermen set traps for the fish and gather them into their net. They strike just when they're about to drag them into their boat. That way, they have varieties at once. They use their long jaws to weaken the fishing line and snap the fish off the hook. Not only do they steal from these men, but they also threaten the safety of the boat and everyone in it. The animal's force shakes the vessel and capsizes it if the captain isn't lucky. This action has increased since whaling has been banned in the region. The encounter causes losses running into millions of dollars. Maybe this is nature's way of getting back at us for the many years of disrupting its operation. And to our best pick. Sometimes it's the animal that we underestimate that does the most. While we consider the great white sharks to be monsters, bull sharks are taking their pound of flesh from humans. Number 3. Bull sharks. One fishing enthusiast was fishing for black-tip sharks and stationed his drone up above the sea to catch juicy details. While filming, his camera captured a bull shark and cobia. He called his friend to help him capture the animal. When the bull sharks noticed they were coming for them, they attacked the boat 7 times relentlessly. You might think that the great white shark is the king of trouble when attacking humans at sea, but bull sharks are even more aggressive. This man didn't know that the animal was even more attracted to his boat because of the refuse dumped into the water. They were lucky that the animals didn't sink the boat. Had they not called for help swiftly, they wouldn't have lived to tell the story. Number 2. Mako Shark. When we talk of boat attacks, we expect these animals to come after humans, maybe as a defense mechanism or to get back at us for something we did. This Mako Shark's encounter with tourists is one rare but funny episode. These tourists in its clip saw the worst of the animal while traveling across the Indian Ocean in 2019. This animal bit through their boat as it impeded its prey. The boat was afloat in the water when this animal struck. It had assumed that the boat was trying to steal its prey and wanted to act fast. As they left the lagoon, they saw a floating carcass of a swordfish that a Mako shark killed. When the animal saw the boat approaching, it only assumed it was coming for its prey. It rushed to defend it by all means. There was no other way to ask the crew to back off than to yank off a chunk of their vessel. If the men didn't get the memo quite early, they would have gotten into more trouble.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 1. Walrus. We've heard more terrific stories about wild marine animals and all the bad things they do to humans while at sea. In their defense, it is only a revenge trip. Humans have done more awful things to them. Ask whalers, they know better. In 2019, a walrus attacked a Russian Navy boat in the Arctic Ocean. Thankfully, no one was injured in the encounter. The authorities say the animal was protecting its calves when it suddenly targeted the researchers in the boat. The attack was not deliberate, but it shocked the animal as it was not expecting any vessel in the Arctic. The boat sank, and everyone on board tried to swim to safety. They managed to steer the vessel away from the angry walrus until they arrived. How about we don't intrude into this animal's privacy? See you next time!